This is the Dark Perk Ergo, one of two variants that mark 𝘲𝘴's debut into the mouse market. I'm going to tell you what I think about this one. Welcome to Machines and More. On this channel, I'll cover PC building and a variety of tech topics. I don't cover peripherals as much. I'm not a technical mouse reviewer, but I really like this one. And every time I come across something great like this, I just like to share my experience and appreciate if you would make sure you are subscribed. So in this quick review, I'm going to tell you about some details about this mouse, my experience with the Dark Perk, and first things first, this was a sample that was provided by 𝘲𝘴 for the purposes of making this review. Big thanks to them, but this is not a paid review, and I am freely sharing my feedback and opinion on it. They won't have advance notice of this either. They're going to see it at the same time you do. So 𝘲𝘴, you might be familiar with their cases and their fans and their coolers. This is a new product line for them. They haven't made mice before. They just released a Dark Perk Ergo, and the other model is called the Dark Perk Sim, which is a symmetrical model. Both have similar features, just with a different body shape. The Ergo is going to be a right-handed model, as you can see from the front profile. And the Sim, like I mentioned, is called the symmetrical. It's an ambidextrous model. The Ergo here is 55 grams, spot on, so very lightweight. On the bottom, you can see that the shell has been milled out to further shed some weight, and that does mean dust will collect inside over time, so you do have to make sure to clean it out regularly. The top button is the DPI adjustment. This one goes from 400 to 30,000 DPI, and a colored LED on the top edge here lets you know what mode it's in. This is the only lighting on this mouse. I did most of my testing in 1200, which is where I usually use other mice. Under that is the on-off switch. This mouse is wireless and connects via 2.4 gigahertz wireless using a USB-A dongle. The sensor is a PixArt PAW3950, and the polling rate can be updated between 1000 and 8000 hertz natively out of the box, which is very impressive as long as you are fine with the battery life taking a hit. And you can do that adjustment via 𝘲𝘴's I/O Center Windows app, or with a compatible browser like Opera or Chrome. You can also control those settings if you're using Linux or Mac OS as well. And there are a variety of other settings that you can dial in using that I/O Center. For my usage, which was general purpose and some video editing, some RTS, I used it in the 1000 hertz setting. And at this setting, 𝘲𝘴 specs a 110-hour battery life with the built-in battery. You don't need an AA with this one. And I will say in the few weeks that I've been testing this, and I will footnote that I did switch between this and my daily driver from time to time, but I haven't had to charge it at all, which I found incredible. And I usually have to charge my daily driver, which is the ASUS Harp Ace Mini, at least once a week. Other things, PTFE skates at the bottom. It does glide smoothly, and it doesn't come with anything else, no grip tape or other spare skates, just a braided charging cable. And it is orange, it's not dark. Two auxiliary buttons on the left and a clickable wheel in the middle. And like I mentioned, no lighting other than that DPI status indicator. And as the name suggests, it really is just a dark mouse. Even the 𝘲𝘴 logo is very quietly embossed into the top here. So it's a tiny bit longer at 120 millimeters and taller at 40 millimeters than what I usually use, and also 66 millimeters wide. And I know this is going to be entirely subjective for mice, but I found this shape very comfortable for my palm grip, and it's a more generalized shape that should translate across a variety of different grip styles. Razer's V3 Pro has similar tech specs, but I have found that shape uncomfortable since it's just a little bit longer with the way it's sloped for how I use mice. My favorite aspect of this, though, is the switches, and more specifically, the sound. If you have other 𝘲𝘴 products, you may have seen things like acoustic dampening, and they tend to be a little bit more noise focused or noise optimized than other PC brands. In fact, I have their keyboards on trial as well, and perhaps those are a little bit too dampened. But man, 𝘲𝘴 plus mouse, this one equipped with Omron optical switches, it feels perfect. It feels just right. You still get good feedback, but it is very precise sounding without the more hollow or tinny sound that you might get with other mice. Functionally, in my testing, I found the mouse tracked very well. There were no malfunctions during the testing period. It was precise, reliable. The lightweight did make quick tracking very efficient, and I am a huge fan of the noise profile. So, price is currently roughly $100 US. It is a higher end spec mouse, and that 8000 hertz spec does place it similarly to the Razer Viper V3 Pro I mentioned before, and that is somewhere around 130 US usually. This does not have any lighting though, and it is also a new product line for a company that doesn't have an extensive peripherals portfolio, right? This is the first mouse that they've made, so that does seem somewhat reasonable if you can appreciate the other features here. So yeah, overall, love this thing. The only thing I might like to see is just a place to store the dongle for transport or storage. As such, I'm less apt to take this with me on the go, but the rest, all good. Huge battery life, it's noise optimized, comfortable, excellent featured mouse, anti-RGB, and I can't wait to see what else Be Quiet has coming down their peripherals pipeline. So that'll do for this one. Please make sure to give a like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Links for the mice are going to be down below, and I'll see you in the next one.